Hey everybody, my name is froggopicasso here. This is just going to be a video where I commentate over my drawing because I forgot to put the mic on whenever I was drawing this for some reason. It might have been because of my dog, but we'll see. Uh, yeah, really want to just take a second to kind of describe the purpose of my channel, which is just I'm just trying to record and document like my process and progress as in art, especially like manga and trying to be a manga artist. The first thing that I'm doing here is I'm kind of silhouetting this pose reference on the left. I found it on Pinterest. I really wish I could find out who the cosplay artist is, but you know, people on Pinterest don't freaking put the link for stuff sometimes. But other than that, yeah, I'm just silhouetting out the pose so I can see the grand scheme of it. And on the right side, I have a reference from Twitter, and it's Nazuna from Call the Night. It's done by the animator of the anime. It was something they drew for Christmas. I put their tag up on the screen, so if anyone wants to follow them, that'd be really, really cool because they're an amazing artist. But they're gonna be what I use as my style reference today. I think studies like this are actually very helpful for me. I don't know about everyone else, but personally, like, I think using a pose reference helps my brain not have to think about the hard processing it takes of like, oh my god, what should this look like? And you know, you should always use reference, obviously, but you know, combining a reference with a style study is very, very helpful for me because it's teaching me the pose, and then I'm also stylistically thinking about like the proportions of the character I'm trying to make be my target, is what I call it, like, which would be Nazuna, sorry, not Nazca, but Nazuna. But I'm not trying to exactly make Nazuna. I'm just trying to replicate the stylistic choices that the artist made in like the body shape, things like that. And right now you guys can see that I'm still just kind of getting my shapes down and making sure that I have everything where it needs to be. I tend to use chunkier lines because it helps me not see. I tried using thinner lines before and like more like, you know, just prettier lines, people say, like, because I think the chunky lines help you see the pose better. It's pretty helpful. I remember one guy in this Discord once taught me, he was like, if you use like big markers to do your gestural strokes or anything that's like pose related, it'll help you see the pose a lot better because it's just you and the pose, you know, like there's no, oh, like it's easy to get like bogged down and be like, oh, well, this doesn't look right because you'll be focused too much on the strokes, is what he's trying to say. This will just help you see it objectively rather than subjectively. You know, the chunky lines just really help my brain understand things better. This is just my process though. You know, I have a very slow process, as you can see. I go over lines a lot. I always want to make sure things are the way they are, because if you don't have to spend a lot of time learning, you have to actually, like, you know, make sure you're learning the right way. So making sure things are the way they are, that's why you see me going over that line a lot, because I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, you know, how does this line work in this perspective? This is just not making sense to me. Like, I could have done it in a box shape to help me understand a bit better, which I'm not sure if I go back and do that, but I have to double check. Like I said, I recorded this video before I did this commentary, so it's a little backwards. Oh, there we go. It does look like I used some boxes and stuff. Thank you. The basic shapes help you see things as they are. I don't know why I did it this way. I should have did the, I always start with circles so I can see the mass of the body and understand where things like lay as far as like how much space I want to take up on the canvas with this pose or this thing that I'm working on. And then I go ahead and do like boxes and stuff to get like things in the right places and in the right perspectives, yada, yada, yada. That's a trick I learned from this Tom Fox Draws book. It's called Anatomy for Artists and Drawing. It's a really, really good book. I tend to prefer books as a study, like a thing to study from more than like online tutorials. I don't know, man. I just don't know what it is about YouTube tutorials, but like some of them are so good and some of them are just so not good. Like you can just tell that. And sometimes it's even artists that are good artists, because I kind of live under the rule that, you know, people that are good at something aren't always the best teacher, and people who are the best teacher aren't always good at something. So it just comes down to that, which it isn't always true. There are people who are good at something and are good teachers, and they can explain it very better because they have the practicality and the knowledge. But, you know, there's some people that they be making tutorials and stuff, and I'm just like, man, you are spitting misinformation. That's part of the reason why I would never, I don't think I ever want to make educational videos like that, tutorial videos, because, you know, I feel like I'm still learning and every day I'm trying to get better. But there are people who are fresh, like fresh spawn artists, man, that just try to make tutorials and then it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't just do something like this, like just upload your process so people can, like, you know, enjoy watching you draw. You don't have to teach people anything when you're still learning yourself, because you know, there is merit to people being like, oh, well, the best way to learn is to teach. So I totally understand that perspective. But, you know, I feel like you could spend your time probably just studying more rather than like even wasting time doing that, because I feel like it's a waste of time for you to like make a tutorial when you are still learning yourself. Because, you know, like, for instance, you're learning and, you know, you get a little traction on YouTube and then you just start to like focus on that way more, which is okay. You know, if you're making your livelihood, that's fine. But, you know, it's gonna take you a lot longer to learn art and pick up on things. So you're not gonna have that time you initially had, that you were just having that focus time because you're so worried about getting a video out or things like that. And actually, I want to talk about that for a minute. Social media and like how social media just kind of puts us on these weird timers of like art and uploading and things like that. I hate it, because, you know, as an artist, it's really important to have that focus time. Like my biggest thing is with Twitch. Like, I tend to always fight with myself to like, oh, I could just be streaming this on Twitch right now. Like, why am I drawing and not streaming this? Where in reality, it's like, you know, I should just draw anyway, because it would just help me to have the no distractions, you know, the non-distraction. But, you know, it's a constant battle that we all have to go through, finding out our balance with social media and art and how important it is. And, you know, because, you know, a lot of people, they're commercial artists, you know, and that's fine. Like, so social media is a big part of that. Like, if you're going to be a commercial artist, you need to be on social media. But if, you know, you have a longer project, like, you know, like you're working on a manga or something like that, like, you know, post stuff there, here and there to promote it, but don't feel like you're being rushed into doing something like that, because, you know, it's gonna pay off better in the long run. I'm just speaking from experience, because that's something that stunted my growth a bit as an artist. And back to the drawing itself, actually, my main focus in like this drawing that I was working on was trying to improve my lines, not line weight variation, but actual like lines, like using like one full stroke. Like, you see, I'm trying to get a C stroke there. You know, most things are made up of the 3-stroke CSI, and I'm trying to really just understand the limitation of just like limiting yourself to only those strokes, because if you can master them, like you can do a lot with those 3 strokes. Like it's the kind of basic building block of everything. Like even that, like that's a C, this is kind of an S stroke, that's like a C, well, more of an S, it's all there. And that's what the whole purpose of this drawing was, to limit myself to a few lines to describe things. Because again, in the book I'm reading, there's a really, really good section about less is more in drawing, because we tend to over-explain in drawing. And I tend to over-explain when I talk. So I'm all around trying to limit myself on these things. But, in art, it's really important to limit yourself with detail, because detail doesn't matter over the form, and good art says more with less. And I've heard that expression for the longest time, but it's just the truth. So it's a really good book. I really think everybody should pick that up. It's called Drawing Anatomy for Artists, Drawing, and it's by Tom Fox Draws. It's a really, really good book. And as you guys can see, I'm still just adjusting the picture itself, making sure that things are where they're supposed to be. I can see that leg isn't really matching with the distance of the head and the leg. Even now, I can see where I messed up in some areas. So, like for instance, the lower the lower leg, the perspective on it is a little wonky. It's not actually going where it's supposed to go. So I think what I could have done is use the cylinder. And mind you, this is where I go back. If I used my basic box to explain this rather than like going right into it, because this was actually timed. I was only supposed to give myself a certain amount of time to do it. So that's why I had to make some like quick decisions and executive choices to be like, well, I'll just leave this out. What can I do? But it's good because this is like good reflection for me. I'm trying to like follow that study loop. I don't know if you guys know about it, like draw, like it's like draw, learn, reflect, or learn, draw, reflect. But that's how I see it. Like I'm trying to what I do at the beginning of the week is I'll read some pages from my books and like things, and like learn a new concept or something, and then I'll take that concept and just apply it throughout the week. And on Friday, today, I will sit down and just apply that concept over and over and over to a couple of things. Maybe I try to at least fill a page up with it, and make sure it's hammered down in my head pretty well. And then on like 2 days later on Sunday, I sit back and I look and I'm like, okay, like does this look right? The reflection. It's a pretty cool cycle. It helps you. I feel like it helps me grow more as a artist, because I'm actually tackling my mistakes and seeing what was wrong. And that's kind of what led me to this decision of using like these thin lines and these very bare bone lines. Like there's not a lot of variation in the line way or anything. It's just straight observation and like trying to silhouette things out, because a silhouette will tell you immediately if something is wrong. You can see it immediately. You just know. It won't look like it's target. And as we're getting closer to the close of this video, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Like I really appreciate anyone who sticks around watch my videos. I'm not like good at art or anything. I'm just still learning, and I'm trying to get as good as I can to make sure my projects I'm working on are just very good. Like I am working on currently 2 mangas. I'm going to start doing a weekly 2-page manga. That's something I've decided myself, so that way I can make sure that that is just getting out there. Oh, well, actually, you know, here I actually am. I guess in the video I did realize that the perspective of the foot was wrong. So I went and did the cylinder thing. That's funny. I want to be more consistent about uploading videos for you guys every Thursday. They're not hard to make. I just record them and upload them. They're supposed to be very low stakes. Like I'm only doing low stakes stuff. I'm not trying to be freaking like Ethan Becker or freaking, you know, all those guys that are just like, they make the high quality videos and they're all up in the camera and stuff like that. You know, I plan to show myself on camera. I want to do a couple draw alongs, like, and or I draw like actually on paper and stuff like that. But for now, this, you know, just low stakes rewards. That's but yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching this and taking the time to spend some time with me and listen to what I gotta say. But yeah, look out for my mangas. I'm working on 2. One's gonna be a longer format one shot, and the other one is gonna be a shonen. And I have a couple like webcomic things that I'm working on. It's just like little weird romancy things, and that was more to just practice my range, because you know I want to do shonen and stuff like that, but it's important to know how to do all styles. I'm rereading the Shonen Jump's Guide to Making Manga book, and that's a big thing that they always talk about, is just making sure that like you try different things out, because you know you may want to do shonen, but like you might be inherently good at romance, or you might be inherently good at something else. That doesn't mean you have to do that something else, but you know that whatever that element of that thing that you're very good at is going to be very prominent in whatever story you are doing. Like if I'm good at romance and I want to make a shonen, that I know the damn well that the romance that's in my shonen is going to be very good, because I know that I'm very confident in it. Yeah, if you guys have any projects you're working on, feel free to like send me them on Instagram or Twitter, or even like, you know, just I love to read people's like mangas and look at people's stuff. Like I'm a very supportive person. I try to be. I think the art community has a bit of a disconnect sometimes, where there's a little bit of gatekeeping and there's a little bit of people who just, you know, have egos and they let it get to their head. But it's important for us to like, you know, stick together, you know, especially if you're new, like, you know, or learning. Like we need to like do what we can to help people to grow, because a community is supposed to be a community, you know, and I'm always going to be here to answer you guys' questions and help out whatever way I can. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking for the rest of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and you know, just enjoy the rest, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Okay.